ladies and gentlemen. All right, everybody on your feet, everybody on your feet, everybody on your feet, over here, everybody on your feet, everybody, come on. Let's go, everybody. I would like to see it. All right, we're gonna start with something very simple, ladies and gentlemen, because I see a lot of people spread apart. So, why are you here? Right, that's the first question you have to ask yourself. A lot of you guys have just wandered into the room. The question is, why are you here? Well, when I go to events, yeah, speaking is cool, talking on stage is dope, but I go to network, and I go to meet people, and I go to interact with different individuals that can position myself in a better way, in a way that I can win. So before we get started, I want you to look around to your left, to your right, in front of you, behind you, and I want yourself to begin introducing to other people, name, where you're from, what do you do, and maybe exchange X accounts or Telegram accounts. For the next 2-3 minutes, I want you to be intentional because we have 20 minutes. We don't have a lot of time, so for the next 20 minutes, I need you to be intentional. Start shaking some hands. If you're sitting on this area, I'm gonna move you guys here. We're gonna have a small, nice, tight conversation. So start moving your way over. Start interacting with people that you may not know because you may be sitting next to the next Vitalik. You may be sitting next to the next Luke Belmar. You may be sitting next to the next big opportunity. Please introduce yourself. If you guys are on this side, move your way over here. All right, exchange those Telegram handles, exchange those X accounts. I see a lot of folded hands here. You're wasting time. You're wasting opportunity and potential. And if you guys are on that side, start making your way to the center right here. Start finding some spots right here. Let's go. Alrighty, let's start taking our seats, ladies and gentlemen. Let's start taking our seats. Exchange those contact informations. Let's make our way over here. Plenty of spots right here. We got 15 minutes. We're gonna chop it up. We're gonna talk about the digital gold rush, what that means, and why you're in this room here today. Hey team, let's move over here. The guy that's in the mask in the back, even though COVID isn't real, let's move over here. Thank you. Alrighty. We're gonna chop it up for a little bit. I'm gonna sit down here with you guys. All right. How's everybody doing? Good? Good. That's what I like to hear. Now, for those that don't know me, I'm gonna give you guys probably a 2-minute rundown. And then we're gonna talk about where we see the opportunity moving forward. So the question is, why are you here, right? Why are you here today? It's important because there's so much innovation, so many things that are progressing in life. You need to ask yourself, what is it that you're trying to achieve? Now, a quick background about myself. So for those that don't know me, my name is Luke Belmar. I'm a digital entrepreneur, quite known on the internet for crypto, e-commerce, and what I like to call the digital gold rush. Now, I come from Argentina. I went to the United States in the year 2012, 2013. At the age of 16, I was 16 years old. with $200 in a suitcase. A lot of dreams, a lot of ambitions, a lot of aspirations, hopes, and I could see the potential, but I didn't have much. So with $200 in a suitcase, I would do what any immigrant would do, which is start working, all sorts of odd jobs, things that many of you guys have already done: pressure washing basketball courts, cleaning toilets, working at restaurants, finding the next opportunity. Now, who here has heard about the American dream? Have you guys heard about the American dream, this thing that they call the American dream? You guys have heard about it, right? Well, what I realized when I landed in the United States was that the American dream was dead. And I was like, oh, okay. So what is the next opportunity? Because I've been sold this thing that, the American dream is the end all be all. Buy that house, find that girl, get that car, get that job, and then sit back and relax. But then when I landed in the United States, I realized it wasn't that case. The year was 2016. I was waiting tables in a restaurant because you have to position yourself for opportunity. I was waiting tables at a restaurant, and a fellow server came to me and said, hey, have you heard about the stock market? At the time, a new application had just rolled out known as Robinhood. Who here has heard of the application Robinhood? You guys have probably heard about it. It was the first way for retail and normies to get introduced into the markets. It was a very easy way to interact, and it was very simple. So I started reading about the stock market. Reminiscence of a Stock Operator was the first book that I picked up. Trading in the Zone was the second book that I picked up. And eventually I started enjoying it. And I was like, okay, there's money here, but I don't have any money. So what do I have to do? Well, continue working all sorts of odd jobs to get there. My fellow server says, hey, maybe you should invest in these biotech stocks. Biotech stocks, the small ones, it's kind of like shit coins in crypto, right? They're very small, they pump and dump. And I was like, okay, well, let me get into it. I lost money in it, right? I remember I lost $125. It was my first time. And I was terrified. I closed my trade and I said, I don't want to do this anymore. A few days later, that same server comes to me and says, hey, have you heard about Bitcoin? At the time, Bitcoin was $588. I looked at Bitcoin and I said, okay, it's expensive for me. I'm working in a restaurant. Like many of you guys work in jobs or have worked jobs to make some money. Let me get my credit card, because I had no money. So let me get my credit card. I went on Bitstamp and bought my first 3 Bitcoin. Ever since then, I realized that this digital money is more than just digital money. There's an entire landscape that's taking place, an entire revolution that's occurring that I like to call the Digital Goldrush. Now, the year is 1848. You guys have probably heard of this event, but I want to share this event and why this event really much resonates with where we are today, except today we have more advantages than we used to. The year is 1848, and in the eastern colonies of the United States, in the eastern states, rumors begin to surface that in the West, they had found gold in a place called the American River. Who here has heard of the California Gold Rush? The California Gold Rush was the biggest boom in US history. Overnight, 300,000 migrants moved from east to west with the hopes of finding gold. Were they all miners by profession, by trade? Not at all. Doctors, lawyers, family men, individuals made their way, whether by land or by sea, in order to have an opportunity to find gold. Now the question is, who made the money? Who got rich during the gold rush of 1848? Was it just the miners? Was it just the first people, like Bitcoin in 2009, 2010, the first guys that were there? Were those the only ones that made the money? No. More people captured massive opportunity. For example, there was this one individual who used to work in the dry markets. He would sell goods, and he would sell certain tools, picks, shovels, axes. And he would sit there, like you guys are doing today, and he would listen to people at the markets, listening to people, identifying problems. And he began to realize that every miner was complaining about two things. One, that their pants couldn't hold their tools, that their pants were ripping, and that when they were sitting down or kneeling, their knees would hurt. His name, Levi Strauss, creator of denim jeans. Did he mine for gold? No. But he identified an opportunity in the gold rush that allowed him to get rich. So when you're looking at crypto, when you're looking at these markets, do you have to be a project founder in order to win? No, not necessarily. You have to be able to identify problems, because where there's problems, there's profit. Another set of gentlemen said, hey, you know what? Maybe what I want to do is transport individuals from east to west. They were kind of like the bus driver. And as they were driving, they began to listen to people and what their complaints were. You know, we're making all this gold, they would hear, but we have nowhere to store it. Where do we put all this gold that the miners are making? Where do we put it? Well, the first individual, his name was Mr. Wells. And the second individual was Mr. Fargo. Today, Wells Fargo is the third largest bank in the United States with trillions of dollars of assets under management. Did Mr. Wells and Mr. Fargo mine the gold? No. They provided a service and provided value to the people that had the gold. And in return, they created one of the largest financial institutions in the world. Now, I had a different keynote presented and a different keynote prepared to kind of talk to you guys. But as you guys know, the markets have been pretty fucked up over this last week. Many of you guys have lost money. Many of you guys are worth half of what you were maybe 2 weeks ago. That's okay. The reason I'm sharing this with you guys is because I want to reframe your perspective as to where you are today. So in the gold rush of 1848, it wasn't just the miners that got rich. There was a 200-year industry that was created. Banking industry, manufacturing industry. Where you stand today is year 15 of a 200-year industry, the digital gold rush. But unlike 1848, you don't have to deal with treacherous animals, dangerous terrains, thieves that want to kill you and take your gold. You don't have to deal with that. You can access. So my question to you guys today is, what is your position in the digital gold rush? How are you going to capitalize on this 200-year industry? Are you merely looking at a 15% swing in your portfolio? Or are you understanding that for the next 80 to 100 years, this industry is only growing and getting bigger and stronger? When you reframe that perspective, you begin to think about things a little bit differently. You begin to zoom out and understand that there's a bigger play at hand. So, where is the opportunity? After this session, I'll be getting together, and you'll see it, we'll be talking with Meow from Jupiter Exchange. We're going to be talking about one of these gold rush opportunities that I identify in the markets. Now, remember, it's not just crypto, because crypto is just merely the financial instrument that we're utilizing in the internet. But I need you guys to reframe how you think about the internet. The US government considers there to be 5 domains of existence: land, sea, air, space, and now the 5th domain, cyberspace. It's up for grabs. The land is there. The opportunity is there. The question is, will you capture it? Will you claim your stake? Will you provide value, and will you solve problems? If you're here just because of a quick bag, you're missing the perspective. You're missing the game. When you understand that this is about generational plays, this is about positioning yourself, your family, long-term to capitalize on this industry, you begin to move differently. That's why when we started this, I said, hey, who's on your left and who's on your right? Do you know how many people have sat next to probably top 50 founders in crypto before they were top 50 founders in crypto and missed the opportunity because they just didn't shake the hand? Maybe one of you, because you didn't shake the hand, because you didn't introduce yourself, because you didn't identify a problem that you could solve. So as this digital gold rush evolves, and as this digital gold rush begins to take form, understand that you are at an early stage. You are at year 15 of a 200-year industry. Not Bitcoin's old or it's already saturated. No, no, no. Do you think that the people that initially mined the gold ended up keeping it? No. Transfer of wealth occurs when value is provided. So as you mingle and as you interact with people over the next couple of days, my encouragement for you guys is to have a long-term perspective. Understand that you are the pioneers of this new industry. The last thing you want to do is to see the opportunity, know that it's there, and miss out because you're thinking about one bull run cycle. You're optimizing for one bear market. We'll talk about it with Meow soon, but I'm optimizing for 10 cycles. I'm thinking about 10 cycles. I'm thinking about how do I pass my Bitcoin down to my kids? And if you're not thinking that way, you're missing the picture. So today's keynote was supposed to be technical. I was going to talk to you guys why the bank sucks and why the bank is a scam, but you guys already know all these things. The question is, what are you going to do about it? This week, you have the opportunity to position yourself in a very special way to take advantage of this industry. Whether you do or don't is irrelevant, because if you don't provide the value, if you don't provide the service, somebody else will. If you don't shake the hands, if you don't introduce yourself, if you don't say, hey, this is what I can offer, somebody will. This room, today maybe there's what, 50, 60 people? In 10 years, this room will be sold out. Maybe 5 years, this room will be sold out. Not only sold out, there will be people waiting at the door to get in. When you're early, that's when the money's made. When you're early, that's when the opportunity gets captured. Don't look at Bitcoin as an individual unit. Look at the industry. Taiwan is ready for this industry. Taiwan is ready for explosion. Taiwan is ready for the next level. The question is, who's going to do it? Is it going to be you? Is it going to be you? Or are you just going to leave it to somebody else? Somebody else is doing it. The West is doing it. Europe is doing it. You guys have been pioneering AI. You guys have been pioneering hardware. Why not blockchain? Why not crypto? Now, in order for you to capitalize on this industry, you need to make sure that there's two ingredients. And these two ingredients are something that today we don't see in traditional finance, and something that we don't really see in the traditional social media world, which is ownership of what? Transaction, and ownership of communication. Today, unlike ever before, you can own what you work on. You can own your crypto. You can own your means of communication, like Telegram or the open network. So today, it's not building on shaky foundations. You know, back in the day, you wanted to build an Instagram page or you wanted to build YouTube, but you don't own these things. It doesn't belong to you. Blockchain, crypto, this new industry, this new revolution that's at hand, gives you the opportunity to own what you work on. So you will either be an actor on the stage of history, because history's happening, or you will be seated watching history take place. The choice is yours. The world is yours for the taking. The digital gold rush is here. The question is, will you capture it? I hope so. That's why I'm here. 15 minutes, good talk, everybody on their feet. Now, once again, I want you guys introducing yourself, where you're from, what you do, and what type of value you can provide. Let's pump the music, 15 minutes. Give us 5 minutes. I want you guys intermingling. Please, come on, everybody up, let's go. Everybody up. Digital Gold Rush, ladies and gentlemen. 15 minutes, introduce yourself, where you're from, what you do, and we'll get started with the next session in just a few minutes.